So basically, I am not playing Sims 4 with an update. I have only been playing Sims
Ah.
4 in the offload mode, and so I didn't do the update. I didn't sign anything with EA and all that other stuff. And I had something really crazy happen today. I'm going to tell you the story. So I'm in story mode right now
Hmm.
because oh my goodness, you guys, I had no idea what lightning can do. It can basically. I did not know that I feel so dumb. I did not know that lightning can damage several houses at one
Hmm.
time. So the other day, oh my goodness, it was like this huge loud explosion. You know, I could screech a little bit. It was so loud. Like it literally startled me.
I
So
think my thing is
my newer
skipping.
computer, my monitor's okay, right? But my modem that's in my kitchen, it's in other part of my house, fine,
Huh?
totally fine. I did not know that lightning can travel through the internet.
Hey, Ken, what's
Because the
up?
internet guy came out here and he was like,
Yes.
yes, I
Hey,
people
Ken,
I'd have
what's
Ah.
going
modems
on?
because of the lightning.
Let
They
me
said specifically lightning. And I'm
add
like,
you.
really?
And Edmund's here.
Wow.
Hello,
So
hello,
it just
hello.
ripples through the ground
So I
current.
think my
Or if it hits a utility line or something like that. But it sounded like it was right on my
okay.
house.
If this is skipping, I'm just gonna mute this and talk over this. Yeah, it's skipping. So I was live streaming. This is my older computer. I'm live streaming because what happened was, oh my goodness, my house was struck by not my house. I don't know where it was actually, but lightning struck, and it was so loud it freaked me out. Oh my gosh, it sounded like an explosion, like almost right out my window. But apparently, something struck because I later found out from the internet company that multiple like three or four different modems were wiped out, internet modems. So apparently, and this I did not know that lightning can travel through an internet modem and take out your PC. I had no idea. And basically, so it took out my PC. My monitor's fine, but my PC and the internet modem fried. So I tell you this, I have taken it. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. It frightened me. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know what kind of damage it could do. And so, um, it was weird too because I felt like this surge of energy. I don't even know how to describe it, right? I don't like it was strange. But it was so loud. But so apparently, because I was researching, trying to, figure out what I should do, what steps I should take. And so apparently, internet modems, like if something hits like a utility pole or any kind, it can even hit the ground and travel. But for whatever reason, it took out internet modems in my area. And I had no idea that I feel so dumb. Really, like I should know these kinds of things, right? But I didn't. So it can take out if it goes through the modem, and it can go through because my computer is connected to the Ethernet cord, and so it can take out your computer. So I'm hoping that if I replace my power supply unit, that hoping that I can revive my computer. If not, then I'll just slave the hard drive and transfer my files to the current computer. But my current computer that I'm using right now, which is my older one, it is really super limited. Like I can't stream and play The Sims at the same time, right? It's just, and I can't get really good streaming on it because with the Prism software, it's saying that my graphic card is not really good enough for stable streaming. So that's really unfortunate. But I can. So what I did, here's what I did. I I had the EA app still on my computer. So here's something on EA created an update on February, I think it was 2nd or 3rd. And so they demanded us to waiver a bunch of stuff to include our rights to submit what basically we surrender all our property and all our creations to AI. And I'm like, that's not okay. But anyway, so I'm like, I'm kind of boycotting Sims 4, right? So I went to old school Sims 3 where I can play outside the app. Well, I didn't know that if you have the EA app in your computer, you do not have to accept the updates because every time EA updates the Sims 4 game, it basically destroys our game. It breaks it more and more and more. So if I'd known this, I would have stopped the updates like a long time ago and just play offline. So, but because I had already uninstalled my EA app, if I reinstall it, I have to agree to all their nonsense. And so I'm just like, I'm not going to do it. So, because I'm using my older computer, I still have the EA app in it. So, I was able to play The Sims 4 very minimally, though, because I don't know, there's some issues I have to troubleshoot. Um, and I don't have to sign any new agreement, and I don't have to do any updates. So there's every like almost every month. Here, I got you, I got you, I got you. Almost every month they do a new update. And anyways, so I was able to get in here. Now, when I tried to place this sim into a home, it like went back to the world map or whatever, but I was able to go in and just build and renovate. But I'm not gonna like save the files because I don't want to overwrite the current files I have in my computer. But anyways, I'm not really able to do a whole lot anyways because I'm still recovering from hand surgery. And anyway, so I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to tell some stories. I have some crazy stories I'm going to tell at the end of this, after I get done doing this video or whatever. But, so, it sounds like it's skipping, though, my live
like
stream.
Playing. I don't think I'm gonna play Sims
It's like dropping
4,
frame
like,
rates
I'm not
and
gonna
stuff.
update.
And I have it set
Anything.
real
The game
low
is
to
broken,
like, I think
but it's
25
not just
frame
that.
rates per second.
It's like
the lowest settings in the Prism software that I
well,
could use.
I just don't like some of the things that they're doing. You know?
Okay, so this is just some.
There's a
I'm
lot.
just
I took
creating a
all-
sim.
most
I
of
was
my mods out,
trying
too.
to put this, drop
I
this
don't even remember
in
that dress.
and
Like, I just
into a
don't
house,
like that they're so
and just
discriminating
like I'm
against
playing a new
Christians.
game instead of going
I
into
like
my
in
old
Sims
save
3
files.
that the mods let you lock,
But it wouldn't.
lock a lot of
It wouldn't
stuff.
let me do it for
And
whatever reason. It keeps
yeah,
rerouting
there's
back
so many
to
things I
the
love about Sims 3.
back to the back to the world map, and it's kind of a loop. There's some kind of issue with playing offline or whatever. But because I haven't signed in on this computer to EA in several months, and they do a bunch of updates, and so I think probably 4 or 5 updates. But the cool thing is, if I can get it playing, it's before they put. I think it was like December or January. They injected a so-called fix of the photo. All the photos from the years that you've been playing went black, and it was such a bad destruction of our game. So they were supposed to create a fix to like fix this photos going black, and instead of it fixing it, it made everybody's photos go black in almost every save that was never gone black before. Anyways, so I'm just like, okay. So I'm going back to an older version of Sims 4 absent the updates, and so I'm hoping that I can play and not have that bug in my game that they injected via an update. So once they injected that so-called photo bug fix, it actually made it so much worse, but the damage is done. So if you put that update in your game, you can't undo it, right? So this particular PC's version of Sims 4, because I haven't done the updates, should not have that photo bug in it. So I'm hoping to get to play and not have the photo bug. So I didn't know that you don't have to do the updates. If you just want to freeze your game in the version that it's at, not do any more updates, and that you can do that. Like, I didn't even know, because like when you go on, because I've never played offline before, so like when you go in to play your Sims game, if there's an update, they tell you you have to do an update before you can play. So the only thing really, the difference between offline and online is having access to, buy more packs, or to upload to the gallery or download it to the gallery. So the gallery, to access the gallery, to download other people's builds and stuff like that, or upload your builds to share with other players, you have to have you have to be playing online. So anyways, if I'd known that a long time ago, I would have never updated. Like, I stopped updating a long time ago, because I'm not buying any more packs. I'm not buying any more kits. So really and truly, so this is what I've done. I started playing Sims 3 in the pre-September 2012 version, which is supposed to be the most stable version of the game, minus a whole bunch of updates. So, and I was really having fun with Sims 3, and I'm going to keep playing Sims 3. I've got a late night I still have to get installed, but now I have to get my PC. So if anybody has ever had that happen to their PC, if you've recovered your PC, I would sure appreciate some tips. If you can give me some tips and let me know how you were able to restore your PC. I'm gonna like look for some YouTube videos to see how to like check to see if the motherboard is damaged, because honestly, if I take my PC in to be diagnosed and all this other stuff, that would cost me so much money. And it's a cheap, I just got it. I usually spend about, I don't spend more than like 300. I buy these old refurb, and like older PCs that are turned into gaming PCs. I'm really careful about my purchases, but I thought that was a really decent computer. Isn't I think it was like 2015 computer, so it's pretty old. But I mean, it had pretty decent. It had like a terabyte of SSD. I think like 500 on hard drive, and then it had, I think it was 16 gigabyte RAMs, and it had a pretty decent graphics card. It's not for like higher graphics, but I mean, anyways, so I'm really hoping that I can get that restored. If anything, I mean, if I can just put the power supply unit in it and get it going. I don't think I'm gonna like invest in a new motherboard and all the other stuff, but anyhows, at the very least, I'm gonna slave the hard drive to transfer to whatever next computer I start using. But I'm not gonna be able to be gaming for a while, anyways, because my wrist is really I guess really and truly, it's gonna take me longer for my hand to heal than I guess I anticipated. I talked to a lady the other day about having carpal tunnel surgery, and she said that she had got it again, had to have a second surgery. So I think I'm just going to be really careful and really give my nerves and stuff a chance to like regenerate and not like stress them. But I'm so I got like this brace that you use when you're typing. I should have done it a long time ago. But anyways, to give support for carpal tunnel, and then um, I'm gonna get one of those. I think you call it ergon, one of those types of mouses that um, is like better for your hand posture, if you will. But I need a mouse that's silent because the clicking noise is kind of annoying when I'm recording. So if you know a brand that has a better mouse that's silent, let me know. I went to Walmart. They did have a silent mouse, but it was wireless. I have to have a USB mouse. I don't use Wi-Fi on my computer. I only use Ethernet. And I'm wondering if I did not have Ethernet connected to my computer and I only use Wi-Fi, I'm wondering if it would have taken out my computer like it did. But I'm not going to stop using Ethernet though because of that lightning. Oh my gosh, that was so scary. I never go outside like when it's raining. I'm like, I don't mess around with storms because lightning is no joke, right? And like I hate driving in the rain. I won't do it. I won't do it. I will not drive in a storm. Mm-mm. But like I take stuff for granted. Oh my goodness. Like sitting here through a storm and not unplugging my PC was dumb on my part, and I'm not like being self-critical. I'm just saying really and truly. Like you should unplug your stuff if it's storming. And I guess I just took it for granted, that I've done it many times. So I will never do it again. No way, Jose. But the fact that it took out several modems in the area, that was kind of new. Anyways, so this, I'm gonna go in here. I'm gonna start
So guess
building.
I should give her a name.
So I picked a house,
Call her Cal.
and I'm just gonna do some renovating. This is what I'm doing in this video. So, yeah. Anybody else's house ever get affected by lightning? That's never happened to me before. I mean, nope. That's scary. Can you imagine? I've heard stories of people actually being struck by lightning. Oh my gosh. Oh, that was so loud. I can't even describe it. It was just so loud. Listen, I'm a war veteran. I've been to war. I mean, I'm talking bombing noises. But that was so sharp and
Darn
intense.
pay.
And this the nitty.
Oh.
Oh, and I got the flute.
Oh.
Some instruments. And that's the
Huh.
one great thing. So I got the late night package times 3. So
Hobie
I will be
Rowie.
able to have
Oh.
bands, but I'm not going
Hobie
to make them
Rowie.
like become a career
Silly.
for it because I
Gibbs.
don't want
Barter
them
Imbo.
to get the celebrity stuff. Where
Hobie Rowie.
Yeah, so I hadn't even installed the late night pack yet into my computer. Oh my goodness. I really hope I can resurrect my computer. Oh my goodness. And then I had this other computer that I had taken to this guy, and he put an SSD card in it, but the SSD card caused it to crash. And that was a pretty decent computer too. So I'm hoping to get both my computers resurrected, right? And so I don't know. I don't know. I tried contacting him, and I don't know if he moved or what, but I think that one will probably be easier to fix than this one that might be wiped out by the lightning. So if the motherboard's hit, it's over. It's gone. But power supply unit, they're not that expensive, and they're pretty easy to replace. I'm pretty sure that's something that I could handle myself. I'm not real comfortable trying to mess around with the motherboard though. And I think I'm just gonna start learning how to repair my PCs, because taking it's not something that's really hard. You just need to pay attention, and I use AI a lot, a lot. AI helps me with my PC and technical stuff. I'm gonna tell you what, learning Sims 3. Usually, I will watch videos on YouTube, but like old Sims 3 is so old that I couldn't really find any videos. So I would just go to Google Gemini AI and I would ask all these questions: how you do this, how you do this, how you do this. And a lot of people are like, they don't know how to install Sims 3 old school. Most people that play Sims 3, they're going back to Sims 3, they will just go to Steam or EA, because it's now back on Steam and EA both, and they just download from there. But installing Sims old school from the disc and stuff on newer computers, yeah, it's a little tricky. But with Google Gemini AI walking me through each and every step, and then troubleshooting if something doesn't work, I'm gonna tell you what, that is so super helpful. It was more helpful than I think I've used technical support from like a computer company like Dell, and like I feel like Google Gemini AI is even more helpful than like technical support, right? And it's free. Like, it's free. Oh my gosh. I know that a lot of people are like, they diss the AI, and I'm really careful about with AI, because AI hallucinates, AI, gets stuff wrong. But you know what? It is the one great thing about AI is it is able to, like, if you're going to research something online and you have to go through Google, you have to go through all these links, and all the newest stuff is at the top of Google, and you have to go through pages and pages and pages if it's something that's from an older article or something. But Google Gemini AI collectively gathers things from, no matter how old it is, from all over the internet, that gives you information about that topic instantly, in seconds. And I'm like, I can't tell you how super helpful AI is when it comes to researching. When it comes to, okay, for example, when I bought this last computer, I had to buy, I was going to get some different stuff for it. And so I would give the exact model and specs of the computer, compare it to what monitor I have to know if I have the right monitor, you know, and to make sure that I buy the right parts for it. If I'm going to get an adapter, if I'm going to get the USB, like an external USB port thing. I mean, just anything. Like, it'll tell you, no, use this brand. No, don't use this brand. No, this is not the right for this specs here. I mean, it's almost literally like technical support, right? And sometimes even better. Not that it doesn't make errors, but anyways. So I'm looking for a lot to build on. This is the Tartosa world from the My Weddings pack. And so when I tried to place her, um, it rounded me back to the world map. So I said, okay, you know what? That's all right. I'll just go in and build without a sim in there. So that's why I didn't use this sim in this build. Hello, Senator Sean's in the house. I haven't seen you in a while. What you been up to? Hello, hello. Um, Thank you. I appreciate it, Sean. So I'm gonna probably tell some crazy stories. Well, today I'm gonna tell some stories of some crazy things that's happened. I don't know. I think I'm gonna go into Willow Creek. Is like the base game world. Then it has some of these. They're called starter homes. They're the cheapest homes that you can buy. So I picked this one, and I don't think I've ever been on this property. Um, look how much yard I have there. I can expand this house. I can add a pool. This is so bare. This is a very bare starter home. So I can do so much with this build. I'm not doing a whole lot, obviously, because I'm recovering from surgery, and, using my left hand is not really working for me, because I also have carpal tunnel in my left hand, and so I don't want to overstress my left hand. So I'm going to have to go light on any activity as far as building. And so, anyways, but editing this in, I'm just going to change some stuff up. I'm just going to renovate the inside of this house, and I don't think that's too much, but I can't do like long streams where I'm building for hours. Yeah, that's not happening. Mm-mm. And so I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm hoping and praying that this carpal tunnel surgery works because I'm wanting to do a craft. I don't, let me know if you've heard of this. It's called knoll bending, and it predates both crochet and knitting. And so it's really cool because you have like this, I don't know if you ever used like a darning needle. Well, it's a needle that's kind of like that, but it's like flat and kind of a little bit wider, and so you use your thumb, and it kind of reminds me of like using different knots or whatever, but it's just so interesting. It's such a unique craft, but it makes beautiful items that look like crochet and knitting. So anyways, I love to do ancient or vintage crafts like that, and so I'm going to be doing that. And so knoll bending, I'll do some knoll bending tutorials and stitches. And I got this K-tail. It's kind of like it's a hybrid crochet knitting tool from the 1960s, and so I have done some videos on that. I have, wait a minute, let me read this. I gave a client a ring pin to write with today for her couple. Really? Really? What is a ring pin? Let me know, because listen, Sean, I'm interested in anything that will help me with carpal tunnel because this is life altering. Like, I guess I never really took carpal tunnel that serious, but it can, like, the surgeon told me, he's like, look, if you don't get this taken care of, you can have permanent damage. I'm like, oh my word. And then I rescheduled. Okay, so I had went and broke down and got it done. But it is life altering. And the lady that I talked to yesterday, it was like kind of like she wasn't trying to discourage me, but she told me that it came back and she couldn't do the same work she had done before. And so that's scary to think that I can't do the, like, I'm already disabled. Like my entire spine, I have to be so careful, right? And I'm already limited on the things I used to do. Like, I looked like flyboard and water, I just was a very active person, but this disease has progressed, so I'm already limited. Like, I can't sit around and just, what am I supposed to do, So I have these hobbies like crocheting and gaming, and so if I'm not able to do that, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, honest to goodness, I can't think of anything, to do. Like, oh my gosh. Anyways, so I'm praying that this works. So anything that you have or know about that helps with carpal tunnel, let me know. I'm so interested in that. So do you have the ring or whatever it's called pin on your computer? Because I do like drawing, okay, and sketching. And so I did Roblox for a long time before I started playing Sims. I would I learned how to digitally paint, spray paint. It's called spray paint. It's literally a game called spray paint on Roblox. And so I would digitally paint with a mouse. I'm like, wow, I didn't even know you could do this. But that is really hard on carpal tunnel. Right. So I'm hoping this new craft called knoll bending, I'm hoping that will be less straining on carpal tunnel. I'm hoping. Honestly, crochet is not that, like, if you keep your grip really loose, like I have, it's not actually the crochet is not that hard on the carpal tunnel, but using the mouse really is. Yeah. So I got this. It's called Copper Fit Support and Relief Wrist Relief Plus. It's got a built-in bead cushion wrist rest for all-day comfort. Helps with carpal tunnel and wrist strain. So, hoping that works. Anyways, but yeah, I need, like, if I'm gonna, well, I type a lot too, so that's what, you know, typing and um, basically repetitive motions. But anyways, we'll see. Well, that pin is to put your, let me read this. It says put your index finger through. Maybe they have the same thing for a touch pen or something to draw on a tablet. Okay. Well, I'll definitely be looking into that. Yeah. So I'm just, editing this house here. Yeah. So I just recorded this. I wasn't even streaming. Because I like this Prism software is supposed to be like OBS. If you have an older computer, I was having problems with OBS. So I went to Prism and I was able to stream with Prism a little bit better, but I think my settings in my Prism software is a little bit higher and I forgot to change it because on my newer computer I was able to have higher settings. Um, so I think I can record better than I was able to yesterday when I recorded this video. Um, because it says my graphic cards is not that good, but I was able to record on this without having that many frames being dropped. Because listen, it's just like the audio kept cutting out or whatever. So, but I think I'm pretty sure I can get it to do it better or whatever. But at least, oh my gosh, at least I'm able to record. This is just okay. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you very much. Um, but I love to build. Right now, I'm not really able to. I'll just do some light renovating or whatever. And gaming has kind of been my thing. But now, listen, I do have Steam, okay, and I have some games on Steam. So I have Tiny Glade, and I have like 3 different build games. Tiny Glade is super relaxing, and it has basically, if you just want to, it's kind of like you build you let's see, there's one where you're building in the sky. It's like you can build and just put a bunch of different, basically kind of the same thing as this. It just looks different, but it has more of an ASMR aesthetic to it. And Tiny Glades is the same thing. Tiny Glades, super relaxing music. It's got really nice graphics, but I can't play Tiny Glades on this computer because you need to have a little. You have to have a. I think you have to have a standalone disc.
And see what they got for tile. I like this.
An SSD, which I don't have on this computer, but I do believe I can play that other game. It's not as high graphic requiring, and it's just really super relaxing, and it has like sounds that are like ASMR like, and yeah. So anyway, so I'm probably gonna play that or whatever, but I'm gonna try to go. I'm gonna try to troubleshoot and go back into maybe this weekend. I'm gonna try to get back in and do some streaming with building or whatever. But that's pretty much all I do. I'm not really into the whole. That's really the only kind of live streams that I do. Um, okay, so I'm gonna tell this crazy story that happened to me.
Like that was totally preventable. It was totally 100%.
So when I was so I'm a war veteran, so I served in Desert Storm, right? And this is the craziest story. I'm so embarrassed about this, but okay, so in the desert, if you will, there are these, they call them latrines, but they're kind of like um they're just like an outhouse, and just imagine like a wooden box that's like rectangle and it has 2 seats in it, if you will, outhouse seats. And then, so because it's hot, obviously, the top part of the outhouse, if you will, was open and it had screens, okay? So then there's like this board on in between the screen, like, there's like a space between the board and the screen. Okay. So and now you know where I'm going, right? So we were on a convoy, and so we stopped to use the latrines or whatever. And there's these camel spiders. I kid you not. And these camel spiders, and I'm not exaggerating. I don't know if you've ever seen one. These things can jump. They're super fast, and they have teeth. Oh my gosh. Like, I saw, snakes and stuff like that, and they don't really wig me out. They don't bother me. But the spiders, really any kind of spiders, but these are, camel spiders are like tarantulas with teeth, and they're scary, and they're super aggressive. Okay, so I'm going to the bathroom, if you will, and I look up, and right there in the screen it like kind of stuck between the board and this camel spider was staring at me. Oh my gosh, I took off running out of there, and I'm like putting my, my belt back together or whatever as I'm running towards the convoy, and my first sergeant was like telling everybody to hurry up to get back in the convoy because he thought something dangerous was out there. I was so embarrassed, and when I jumped back in the truck, he comes up to me and is like, asked me what the heck was going on, and I was so embarrassed to have to tell him that it was just a camel spider. I was like, oh my gosh, I was so embarrassed. But what is it about spiders that there's a lot? I'm not alone. A lot of people are afraid of spiders, like even small ones, right? Like I know that they can bite and they can like really cause you problems, but like ticks cause more problems than spiders, right? I've had Rocky Mountain spotted fever. I've had Lyme. Thankfully, caught it in time that I was able to get in a box right away. I have the alpha gal from ticks where I can't eat anything mammalian. I can't have anything mammalian byproducts or anything in anything um like even supplements, or when they do surgery they have to make sure that they use sutures that are not mammalian byproducts, or bandages. I mean, it's all kinds of stuff. It's like life altering, right? But I'm not afraid of ticks. They annoy me, right? I'm like careful to make sure I avoid them. But spiders, what is it about spiders that they probably think our species is so silly because they're so tiny, compared to us. We're so huge compared to them. But why are people so afraid of spiders? Anyways, but I think that there's a lot of people. I don't know. What is it about that particular bug? I mean, they don't really do anything different than other bugs. They creep around, they crawl around, or whatever. And some of them can move very fast, but I don't know. Um, Anyways, so one thing about Sims 4 that I really miss is the ability to move things up and down on the wall really good. But I will tell you what, though, I think I enjoy building in Sims 3 more just because of the custom colorization tool that is just so awesome. And the fact that I got the entire Sims 3 EA store for free is mind blowing. Like, after playing Sims 4 for 2 years and buying kits, you know, in packs, which I didn't buy that many, not as many other people did, but I mean, that's an investment. That's a lot of, stuff that you have to buy just to get this stuff. So to get tons of stuff for free via the Sims 3 content store. Oh my gosh. I mean, when you look at my live streams, I have a video of where I literally went through the whole EA content store, and it was a lot. So you have like holiday stuff, you have like sets, and the cool thing about Sims 3, when they have sets, like they'll have a furniture style that is for maybe the Edwardian kitchen stuff or whatever. When they have a furniture set, it is for the entire house. Like you'll have a furniture set for the living room, the kitchen, the bathroom, the bedroom, outdoor, the porch. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can do your whole house in that particular style of furniture. But Sims 4, it's like when you get a world pack or whatever expansion pack, you'll get like maybe a couple items for the living room. Maybe, some stuff for the, kitchen counters or whatever to match. You know what I mean? You don't get like the whole house like matching stuff. Like you might get a couch, but you won't get a chair to match. You know what I mean? It's like, oh my gosh. So I was just so elated to get that much stuff for absolutely free on Sims 3. But the best thing I like about Sims 3 compared to Sims 4 is I don't have to use a map. I mean, the EA app, I can just, you know, play it to my heart's content. I don't have to be forced to do an update or anything like that. And once you get it, the older version that I'm playing is Super Patch 1.67 pre September 2012. So what happened in September 2012? That's when the EA started to require people to have to have an EA account and use the app. Like, well, you couldn't even play Sims after September 2012 outside the app. Like, you have to have an account. But if you bought the disc pre September 2012, you do not have to get an account. Now, when you like install the disc, you have to like click the user agreement or whatever it was then. But their user agreement was so much less demanding back then. And so nowadays, what EA's been doing, and they're being sued over, is they're putting tracker stuff in your computer. Not only that, but they're selling your personal information to third parties. So there's a big class action right now for two reasons. One is because Facebook and EA got together and they sold our personal information to Facebook. Like, what the heck? I am not okay with that. And I didn't agree to that. And so they're being sued over that. And so then that, and also and this isn't the only platform doing this, they're collecting biometric data. I forget what other platforms getting sued over that also. So in some of the games online, beware of this if you play this kind of game. So Roblox came out with this first. Roblox had this really cool feature. I remember everybody talking about it on YouTube when it first came out. So you would have your avatar move to what your physical face is doing. So if you're moving your head left and right in front of your camera, then your avatar on the screen is moving its head left and right. If you're bobbing your head up and down or smiling, whatever it is you're doing. And so that was really a super cool feature and that they, added. And Roblox actually came up with that, as far as I know. And so I was playing Roblox at that time, so I remember when that feature came out. And so now what they've been doing, though, with that feature, and not just EA, but I forget what other platform it was, they're collecting biometric data. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, oh my goodness, like, what, that is so greedy, that was so unnecessary for them to do that. But anyway, so I'm just like, I am so done with playing via these apps. I'm old school, like, if you've had, like, I have Xbox, actually I have two different types of Xbox, and so you can just put in a disc and play. And that's it. You know what I'm saying? When you buy a disc, like I bought Forza Horizon. I love Forza Horizon, by the way. In fact, I might be breaking out some Xbox games, do some videos. But you know what I'm saying? I got the older version of Forza Horizon, and those are the days. You just buy a game, install it into your computer or your whatever your Xbox or whatever PS4, whatever it is that you're using, and just play and play and play and play. And that's it. You own it. And the cool thing about Sims 3 is, these discs will eventually wear out. Like, if they're so sensitive, if you get even a tiny scratch on a game type of disc, they will ruin your game. But with Sims 3, you can get a no CD mod, so that once I install it into my computer, that's it. I will never have to use the disc again. And you could just play. But nowadays, any of the games, you have to go through these platforms, and they make you sign these egregious agreements, so they're taking your stuff they're like putting tracking stuff in your computers, or they're selling your personal data, they're collecting your biometric stuff, and, then they're making you surrender all your content, stuff to AI. And I just find that cringy. I'm like, look, I don't mind like improving AI, but I feel like you should reward us. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, they should, if we agree to whatever, then we should be able to get a free kit or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But instead of doing that, they hold our investment hostage that we paid for years buying this stuff for this game, and then we can't even play unless we agree to that. You cannot play the game unless you agree to their update. I'm just like, yeah, well, you just lost me. Oh my gosh. And then here's the newest thing the EA has done. Sims 4. So it was a long time before I bought a mod content creators kit, just because I wanted to make sure that the mods are going to actually be paid, right? I want to make sure they weren't getting ripped off. These mod developers and these mod creators, like, really and truly, they make this game. Like, oh my gosh. And so they started where they were going to sell the kits via the EA app. And so, it really gives them the benefit of having more exposure to the many millions of people that they have, but they got 70% of the content. So YouTube has billions of viewers, right? And so if we get tips, they take 30% of our tip, which, that's fair, right? So basically, EA followed that same model, and they were giving these mod creators 70% of the profit, which I felt like that's reasonable. That's their work, that's their creation, and so all they're doing is just putting it in their app, in their whatever. So what they've done now is they've created a specific marketplace that is for buying the kits. It's called, and then you have to this new currency that they're introducing called Moolah. And so basically, they're taking 70% of the profit and they're giving the mod creators 30%. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So they're like, well, you're getting exposure to millions of people. Okay, so what the big difference about the marketplace that they're now creating for Sims 4 is because it's now going to open up the door for console players to be able to have mods. Okay, I'm like, that's the excuse that they're using. That, well, now you're getting an additional millions of players that are going to be exposed to your content, be via the console players. But I'm like, that's so this marketplace is supposed to basically kind of stabilize the prices across the regions and in the different countries that they sell stuff in, but it's also supposed to open up the door for console players. So they feel like, well, we should get more profit because we're giving you more exposure for people to buy your stuff. And I'm just like, yeah, but no, you're taking 70% of the profit and giving them 30%. Nah, no, that's not that many more players. That's just greed. Oh my gosh. So I'm hoping that the mod creators say no. So probably what's going to happen, the best creators, they get 90% of the profit. If they just only create their mods and put it on their Patreon sites and the websites that they use, basically the Patreon site and the websites that they are putting their mods that you download from, then they get 10% of the profit. Like, even if you don't pay them, like, like, I don't know, give them a tip or whatever on a page, or support them on Patreon, which is really, it's not that much, but there's so many mod creators. I mean, that could end up being a lot of money if you're paying all the mod creators. But these websites that have these mods that you download them from have a lot of ads on them. So that's one way that they make money, is because, the websites pay them or whatever from, ad revenue, whatever. So anyway, but they make pretty decent money. Those that are well established and have a lot of clientele and a lot of, people downloading their stuff, well-known mod developers, they make pretty decent money. And, and they probably, I don't know, because I haven't heard anybody mod creators talk about how much they're actually making. I don't know if they're prevented from doing that, but I was just hoping that the mod creators just say no, we're not giving you, we're not gonna give you 70%. I hope that they just say no. So probably a lot of them are going to, and so what's going to end up is being lower end mod, basically lower quality mods will be on the marketplace. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that marketplace, because it's already made a lot of people mad. Like, you're taking 70%, that's just wrong. So that'll be interesting to see. But here's what happened with Sims 4. It was bought out by Saudi Arabia, and of all people, Jared Kushner, Trump's son-in-law, the investment group that he has. So you have the Kushner family, which a lot of people think is Jewish, but actually they're Jewish and they're Christians, because he married a Christian. But they're conservative. So you have a very strict religious country of Saudi Arabia, and the Kushner family, who's also conservative, their investment group. But Saudi Arabia owns most of the shares of EA. So they now have control of EA. And so I don't know if they're the ones that came up with this marketplace, or this is something that they had already pre-planned ahead of time before they actually officially take over and take control, which I'm not sure exactly when that happens. But anyways, so I'm hoping that some of this stuff, I'm hoping that they will stop some of the aggressive stuff that they're doing and discriminating against Christians, which is really annoying. Yeah, so, but I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna wait out the lawsuits, because I do believe that they're gonna be in trouble for the sharing of our personal data, and I don't even think that they can hold your stuff hostage by forcing you to sign a waiver of a class action while a class action is happening, and they're supposed to tell you that a class action has happened. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Google had a class action against them, and so they sent notices to our email, but it went to spam. I'm like, why would you trust Google to send our emails about a class action that we maybe, have rights to? And like, you're gonna trust them to get it to us, and all the emails went to spam. And I did a video about that, that told people, hey, you better check this stuff. But anyways, for for EA to demand and hold our ability to play the game hostage unless we signed a waiver of the class action without even giving us notice that there was class action. That's not even legal, y'all. I know this stuff. It wasn't legal. So I'm waiting out these class actions and waiting for that stuff to get settled, because I know that they're probably they'll probably pay some damages for selling our stuff. And Facebook, how many times has Facebook been sued over selling our personal data? And yet they keep doing it. Like, it's like they get a fine or whatever. Mark Zuckerberg has been through, I don't know how many investigations and how many times he's been brought through, Congress and stuff. And it just bothers me. It really bothers me that people don't care. They don't care what these corporations are doing. And it's just like, people, you know what? We cannot just let these corporations do these things. It's not okay, especially if you're somebody with kids. Like, if you're somebody with kids, your children's are being exploited. And, like, it just irritates me that people don't care more about that. It's just such, what is the word? Apathetic, human beings in our country. Oh my goodness. But anyways, corporations will get by with what you let them get by with. And so people, I'm not being just like icky picky because I'm boycotting EA. And I'm going to tell you what, I'm not the only one boycotting EA. You're not seeing a lot about it on YouTube because YouTube is suppressing those videos. But I can tell you, as a part of the AI community, you can just go Google Gemini AI and how many people are boycotting EA right now, right? They will give you the real true picture of how big it is, because EA can pull stuff from very, very, very many different platforms of how many people are talking about it and how big the protest is. But on YouTube, you're not seeing anything about it. Right? So I'm just like, y'all need to go, y'all need to go Google Gemini how big this protest is against EA, because yeah. Anyways, so I think if there was more exposure, like on platforms like YouTube and stuff about it, that they would it would probably even grow even more. But YouTube makes a lot of money off of EA because they have a lot of EA games on YouTube. They're sponsored, and yeah. So, anyways. But aside from all that, at least I'm able to play a little bit on Sims 4, since now I'm using my older computer without having to sign an agreement or do any updates. But once EA hopefully gets straightened out and they stop selling our data and all that other stuff to third parties, and it's another thing too, is that, like, selling our data and stuff like that, that is just so exploitive. And it's just, especially kids, because I know minors, it's a teen rated game, and a lot of the games on EA are teen rated. And so for them to do that to minors, oh my gosh, the stuff they get by with. So hopefully that'll get sorted out in court. And so if I ever do go back to playing Sims 4, yeah, I'm so not updating my game to what they currently have. I'm not going to do it. And if I can't play offline without updating, then I guess I'm just done. But I have Sims 3, and that is, honestly, I don't really feel like the characters themselves. I don't like the characters themselves as much as I like the Sims 4 characters, just because I don't know, they're kind of annoying. Like, they throw temper tantrums a lot. And so, like, for one thing, if I accidentally place something incorrectly to where the sim can't access it, they get angry, they stomp their feet, they scream, and I'm just like, that is too much drama. Like, and there's no way to control that. Like Sims 4, if you place something incorrectly and you tell them to go in a room that they can't get into, or, like, whatever the routing issue is, they won't act like that. They might just be like, I can't do this. And so, anyways, but they're kind of and there's a lot of autonomy in The Sims 3 that I haven't figured out yet, even with The Sims 3 autonomy to like nothing. Like they're still doing stuff that I don't know really how to control that. But building in Sims 3, I'd say the graphics isn't as good as Sims 4. Sims 4 has some beautiful, beautiful graphic improvements from Sims 3, like the romantic garden kit. I love those flowers; they're so beautiful. And but I say overall, I say that Sims 3 is I think the building's better. Honestly, there's so many different things that you can do that you can't do in Sims 4. So and plus, since it's so old and you can get the entire Sims 3 content store for free. Oh my goodness. And to include premium content. Premium content gives you a lot of gameplay. Like so here's what the marketplace in Sims 4 is doing. They're kind of comparing it to Sims 3. But I think I watched a video about that, but I think that that person who did that video, and I'm not going to name any names, I think they're wrong. I think they just didn't do the research. It does look similar to Sims 3 because Sims 3 would like just give you build on. Actually, I like the Sims 3 store because I have always said, and you can look at my, if you've watched my Sims videos, you know I've said this many times. I wish that they would give us the ability to buy like a build and buy combo pack. Like, I don't want the pack because of the gameplay, or maybe I didn't like the world, or whatever. If I could just buy some of the build items that's in that particular kit, you know what I mean? So they would just sell just like sets or stuff like that, or maybe just maybe one little item that has gameplay to it, at a much less price or whatever. I was like, I liked that idea. But Sims 3 store, that is not the same thing as Marketplace because I researched it and I went online and Google AI researched it or whatever. And so Marketplace is for introduction of console players because some console players cannot use mods. And so for whatever reason, I don't understand why they're not able to get the kits because they're saying, well, this is what EA is saying. They're saying because console players are not able to download mods. I'm like, yeah, but what does that have to do with the kits? If they buy the content creator kits through the EA app, then they should be able to play it. But so they're saying the biggest reason is one to have a currency that is, I guess, stabilizing through the different regions that, global countries that they have this in, and for console players. But to me, it just doesn't add up. Okay. But it's really and truly the marketplace, as they're saying right now, it's not microtransactions. Now, in the Project Renee, they did talk about microtransaction because that's an open hub, and that's following the model of Roblox and Xbox and a lot of those game platforms. You play the game for free, but you basically pay via microtransactions, and that's super common in the gaming world, right? So I don't really have a problem with Project Renee so long as it's separate from the Sims 4 game, which they decided after much backlash that's what they're going to do. So Project Renee is going to be like kind of like side to side, but it's going to be a separate, gaming experience from the Sims 4. Okay, but a lot of people got mad about the microtransactions. So this person who did this video about the marketplace is trying to say that this is where they're, bringing microtransactions in the Sims 4 game. None of that is true. None of that was true. I promise you, if it was true, I would be all over it, right? Okay, y'all know it would be. Okay, but it's basically a platform where they're going to have content creator kits. And the big change to set up that marketplace is they're taking more money and they're giving less to mods. And that is I hope in my prayer, not to be mean, but my prayer for the marketplace is to be one big flop. And that the mod creators just say no. I'm hoping that they don't give in. Like, I just hope that they, for principle, say no because I despise greed. And I see that as greed. It'd be like, even if it was 50-50, if they're really truly going to get more exposure, like, but to just go and take 70%, no, that's not okay. It's not okay. No way. And if YouTube was ever to start to be nasty to us like that, like they already take 30%. Like, here's the thing I've always said. Like, I had PayPal, okay, before I even got remonetized again or whatever, because I was monetized years ago, and then they said, okay, they changed. You have to have 4,000, watch time hours, and I had quit uploading altogether. Like, I was just a viewer, and so, but they say that PayPal will take a tiny little portion, and when you get a tip, like if you could put a PayPal link on your homepage of your YouTube channel, say, tip me here, or there's other places that they can tip you. You do not have to be monetized for a tip jar. It's just easier, you know what I'm saying? Because, privacy or whatever, and so it's really hard to get tips without them, like, it's just easier to get tips while they're in game or whatever. But but they take 30% of your tip, which, that seems fair. But if they was to, like, to reverse that and take 70% of the tip and give us 30%, like, people would just leave. You know what I'm saying? So I compare that to what EA has just done to mod creators, and I just want people to boycott this behavior of EA. And I also want them that to go and use Google AI, and ask them how many people are boycotting AI for various reasons, and it's a lot. It's a lot of people. Like, and then that I want you to realize that, because you're not seeing that on YouTube. How many videos on YouTube have you seen about the big boycott against EA right now? Nothing. I haven't seen anything. I mean, maybe you've seen, so I haven't seen anything. Like, because they're totally, if somebody was to do a video about that, they would totally suppress it, right? But yeah, and I just want people, to just be responsible humans, and say it's not okay for you to be a teen rated game and take personal information of your children, people's children, and share that with third parties. That's not okay, right? It's one thing for adults to agree and to stuff. And here's another thing. So, and because I've been to law school, I know that generally minors under the age of 18 cannot enter into legal binding contracts. That's pretty much been the standard common law rule principles for minors. You know what I mean? You have to be 18. So for them to take the gaming world and change that standard and just take children's information, like, children can sign up without parents' permission, and that's not okay, and then sell their personal information, you cannot do that to children. And so I want people to be responsible humans and say, okay, it's not just adults who they're grown and they can make decisions for themselves, and if they choose to be exploited by, EA or whatever, that's one thing. But to do this to children, and for people not to speak up against it, I just hold them responsible. I'm like, okay, you know what? I just wish more people would speak up about it. And so yeah, anyways, but it's sad, because really and truly Sims is a really good game, minus the toxic stuff that they have gone towards. I think some of that's going to be pulled back with the new owners in the game. That's my prayer, because there's a lot of toxic stuff that they're forcing on people that is not even appropriate. Um, like, I don't think children should be exposed to voodoo. Like, I don't think you should be. Actually, technically, I think some people consider voodoo an actual religion. Um, but you shouldn't be proselytized on any religion in the game, anywhere. Okay? And you certainly shouldn't be proselytized about voodoo when you're a minor. That's not, can you imagine them doing that in our schools, proselytizing the children to voodoo? But that's what they're doing. They started doing that in Sims 4. So on the loading screens of Sims 4, they have messages about voodoo and the power of voodoo. And I'm like, why are you proselytizing these children, these minors? Because teen rated is technically, I think it's 13 and older. So you're proselytizing children to voodoo. That's, like, not okay. I think that they should have a separate Sims that is, if you're going to be teen rated, like when you go to a movie theater, you can't watch stuff that has specific there's a standard, like, well, if it's got this kind of activity, this kind of activity, then it's rated R, and it's 17 and older, which technically it should be 18 and older, because you're not an adult unless you're emancipated, or whatever, it's called, where you, if you're 17 and you're responsible enough, you can, like, go live on your own or whatever, and be considered an adult a year earlier or whatever. So, but there's a lot of stuff in The Sims 4, and I want to warn people, because I feel like it's my responsibility too as a Christian, if I'm going to be, sharing this game on my platform. So there's a particular website about, it's called Wicked Whims, and it's basically soft porn, basically. But if you go, well, I don't have it, but I know, I know about it. But I've gone to the website. If you go to the website, there wasn't a warning for anybody can go, any child can go to that website, download that content into their game and play it, and that is absolutely unacceptable. And so, that's no, that's just not okay. And so, they're just like, just not taking precautions. And so YouTube's got in trouble for that. They're forcing YouTube to, like, do different things, give timeouts for kids and stuff like that, and just to, age verification and stuff. That's all forced on YouTube. Like, that wasn't YouTube just deciding they're going to do that. That was forced on them via lawsuits. And so I'm just really surprised the EA hasn't been included in all these class actions. They've gone after Steam, they've gone after Roblox, they've gone after, like, 14 attorney generals have sued various platforms: TikTok, Facebook, Roblox, YouTube, Google. That's how these recent changes about, age verification stuff, they came from. They all came from these lawsuits. So I'm just really surprised that EA has not been included in that list, because some of the stuff they did is even more egregious than what was happening, except for the Predator stuff on Roblox. But I'm just like, okay, EA has stuff in it that really and truly is just not appropriate. Like, violence against women. Like, I know a lot of people think it's funny and it's just like, but whatever. If you have a dude that goes up and starts beating up on a woman, like, that's not, ugh. Anyways, so, there's just a lot of toxic stuff about Sims 4, and I think some of that will be pulled back. That I'm not even going to go into details of stuff, but anyways, I think that's going to change. Sims 3, probably the you get more control on blocking tons of stuff that you don't want. You customize your game. If you don't want this, and this, you can control the entire town. You can do a lot of different modifications in Sims 3. Yeah, so, I think that, well, the earlier version of Sims 3 that I'm playing, I think you have more control over it. But anyways, but it's sad because, this has got such, I love the building in Sims 4. Now Paralives is coming out, and I'm hoping that it's going to be more wholesome. It's not a corporate at this point, so you have a small development team. And here's what they have promised, and it is a big, huge commitment that Paralives has done. So they're building tools better than Sims 4, the best that I think that's out there. And so they are promising that any updates that they do, or DLCs or anything, will be free. So I don't really know how they're going to make revenue after they get their clientele, and once they sell the amount of packs that they do, it's going to trickle down to, how are you going to keep, new buyers from buying the Paralives? So I really don't see how they're going to make money, to keep that maintenance of the game. But I'm sure they'll come up with something. I don't know. I don't know if they said anything that they're not ever going to add microtransactions or other things that you can buy. They've just promised no free DLCs and updates are going to be free. That maybe that doesn't mean that they won't sell other stuff, which I wouldn't be offended if they did, But anyways, Paralives is coming out May 25th is the release date, and I am just really looking forward to that. Not the game, like, not the characters themselves. I'm not really into the role play, you know. So it's called Paradimes is the currency in Paralives. Okay? And from what I have found out by researching, you will be able to have cheats. So basically, your paradigms have to, your paralives have to go and they have to earn money so that you can build and, renovate their house and buy stuff or whatever. But like Sims 4, having cheats, forget all that. I ain't trying to spend all that time. So they're going to allow you to customize and use cheats so that you do not have to earn the money. Because what's the point if you have to spend X amount of time in the game before you have enough money to do the building? I wouldn't even be interested in that, right? I just want to build because their build tools are next level. They're like, yeah. So, anyways, so I'm really looking forward to Paralives. I will definitely be Paraliving up here on YouTube. God willing, I will be. Okay. And so I'm really looking forward to that. It was supposed to be released in December, but then they said, okay, we need 6 months we've got some more tweaking we want to do before we want our launch to be, better. And so I don't mind the 6 month extension. So May 25th is the release date, and that is just around the corner. So I'm so excited. And I will have, guys, guess what? After the internet guy came here and gave me my new modem the other day, he told me that the fiber optics are here. Ah! I know I've been talking about fiber optics since last April's when they came down the road from where I live and laid the stuff in the ground. But he told me, because I'm like, I've been calling, I was asking, like, why isn't it here yet? Why isn't it here yet? I don't know what the holdup was, right? But they said, no, it's here. They're out there and they're, in my area or whatever. So he said probably midsummer. And so I'm hoping that he's accurate because fiber optics is going to be an absolute game changer, guys. Game changer, okay? Because, by the way, give it a like if you haven't already, please. So, with fiber optics compared to what I have now, when I stream, I have like maybe 7, 8 at the most upload speed, which is pretty extremely limited, right? But on the package that he said he has the fiber optics, and he says it's like super super fast, like, oh my gosh, super super fast. And so even their most basic package is going to be giving me probably 5 to 6 times more. So like right now, if I have a Wi-Fi camera inside my house to like watch my dogs or something when I'm at home, so I can't have maybe like two cameras at the most, right? Because they each like 2 megabytes per second or whatever. Anyways, and so if you don't have decent upload speed, then you're really limited. And I can't run my Wi-Fi my Wi-Fi cameras plugged in if I'm like live streaming stuff like that. So, yeah, because where I live is very rural, and so for them to even get the internet that I have is extending lines, right? So when I first moved out here in this area, I only had satellite internet. Oof, that was awful. Just because they charge so much for satellite. Like you get very limited gigabytes per month, and then you have to like buy extra. And I'm like, forget all that. So I have um, internet modem that like comes DSL. It comes through like phone line or whatever. So now I'll be getting fiber optics. Whee! Finally. So I'm gonna get my computer fixed, maybe get an updated computer, and I will be having, I think, better experience with streaming because I can stream in higher. Like right now, I'd be doing good to stream in 1080, but if I can be able to like stream in 4K, anyways, I just think that I'm hoping that my streaming is going to be getting better with the fiber optics, and either I'm going to get my computer fixed with putting a new power supply in it, or I have to get another one. Lightning came through my modem and fried my computer. So now I'm just so glad that I have an older computer as backup that just happens to have Sims 4 in it with the EA app still in it. So I didn't have to re-down the EA app, and I don't have to sign any new agreement. I don't have to do any new updates. I can't remember what update. This version of Sims 4 that I'm building in right now is from like a few months ago, like September maybe. Well, Nature's Calling was the last event that they had. So whenever Nature's Calling was out, which was way before Christmas, pretty sure that was way before Christmas. So Yeah, I like that I'm playing in an older version of Sims, so I don't think it has the photo bug that they injected by trying to create a fix, which made it 10 times worse. So, but I just have to troubleshoot and figure out why it is looping back to the world. When I tried to sign in, I went into load game and play my old save as file, and it wouldn't load the game. It would go back to the world map, and so there's some kind of probably some corrupted cache or something in my computer. So I'm going to work on that, troubleshoot that. But I'm just happy to be building. Like, if I could just go in here and just build, I'm cool with that until I get my, either get my computer fixed or get a new one. Anyways, but I'm going to have to get a SATA so that I'm going to want to slave drive my hard drive from my old computer. If the power supply unit doesn't fix my computer, then I'm going to slave drive my hard drive and transfer my files into, newer computer or whatever, so that I can have my Sims 3 in my computer. And I don't know if I can just transfer those files or will I have to reinstall it. I don't know, but I want to keep what I already started in Sims 3. I mean, if I have to start over, it's not that big a deal because I wasn't really that far into um, my little family, whatever. I was just really just learning Sims 3, so I don't really mind to start over. But I think I'm gonna play Sims 3 until Paralives comes out, and then I'm probably if Paralives, I'm probably just gonna be playing Paralives. May 25th, y'all, is the big day. Paralives is coming out. It's gonna be released. I'm so excited. But honestly, though, I'm gonna. I have these games on Steam. I have like 3 different build games. I have Tiny Glades and Room Decorator, and I forget what this one game's called, but it's kind of like you have this space, but it's like in the sky, and it's just really really pretty. And so you're building these cute little buildings, and it has a lot of decorate things that you can decorate, and it's just a really cheap game that I thought was really cute. Just really relaxing stuff. I hear birds outside my window. Anyways, it's that time of year. I have a feeder. It's the craziest thing. So I took these blocks, these cinder blocks, and I put a like a trash can up on top of it, so that it's like at least 6 feet higher than 6 feet. Squirrels can jump from the ground to about 5 feet. So I had to do that because I tried so many different things to keep the squirrels out, and those rascally squirrels kept taking all the bird seeds. And so I put that up there, out there like that for the birds. And so I have a lot of different types of birds that come here. But I always put a little bit of something out there for the squirrels too, because you have to pay the extortion fee to the squirrels, because otherwise, if you don't, and they're in your environment, then they can start attacking like bird nests and stuff like that. And yikes, those squirrels. Woo! But I have cardinals and blue jays and different types of finches, and there's some robins out here too, and I even seen some indigos, a set of those, which that's kind of rare. But anyways, I love my birds, so they're kind of sort of like pets, but they're outdoor pets. But I will feed those birds. And I used to do the hummingbird feeders, but they kind of attract the ants, and so, anyways. But I'm getting close towards the end of my video here, guys. And yeah, I appreciate everybody stopping in. And I wish you would give me a like if you haven't already. I appreciate that. Any little thing I can get. So I just got a sweatshirt, a YouTube sweatshirt, as they call it, swag. And I was really surprised. I thought it might be a hat or something. She gave us a hint what it was going to be. And she said, basically it was gonna be something we could wear. So I was kind of like guesstimating maybe a hat, but then they came out with a sweatshirt. I'm like, oh, cool, nice. And though it's kind of where I'm at, it's a lot of places it's still cold, but it's pretty much warm here. But yeah, it's I don't know. I hope it gets in here in time where I can wear it at night when it's still a little cool. And so, but I'm gonna decorate my sweatshirt. It says YouTube on it. I think it's like kind of a grayish blue color, and so it says YouTube on it. So I'm gonna like decorate it, put like my channel name on it, and I'm trying to come up with some other ideas for bling. To I haven't really done a whole lot of decorating fabric or, clothes and stuff like that. That's not the kind of craft that I've really been involved in. But I went to Walmart yesterday. I couldn't really find anything, like nothing. I had to go to the hospital yesterday. My surgeon called me and wanted me to come in because I've had this weird blisters and rash on my arm, and I thought I was having a reaction because I have alpha gal. Sometimes if they use something, it can cause systemic issues, but I don't know. So they gave me some steroid cream. So I'll whip by Walmart if I'm ever, out and about, and nothing. I was so mad at Walmart because everything, like a lot of stuff, if they don't have it in the store, you have to go online. They're selling a lot more. They're taking stuff that they used to sell in the store and they're just putting it online. Maybe it's not, that common item sold. And I'm like, you know what? You just lost a sale for me because I'm just going somewhere else. I'm not going to order online. So that makes me mad. So, anyways, but like I didn't really see anything. There wasn't really anything like for fabric. So, ugh. So I don't know. Looking for suggestions on ideas on blinging up clothing. I know a lot of people are into those kind of crafts, but like, where do you get your stuff? I know because where I live, we don't have the Hobby Lobby, we don't have the Michaels. I think the town that's like half an hour away from me, I think they might have a Hobby Lobby, but you know, um, anyways, just taking suggestions on that. I don't think that that's a craft that I'm going to spend a lot of time in. I'm just wanting to do like one little item. My crafts are yarny, like I do the K-tail knitting. I'm going to start the knoll bending. I do have some members only. So I want to talk about my members only also. So for members only, most of the times what I'll do is I'll give early release to members only, like, it'll be a while before I release it because I want to like share whatever I have with like everybody. But the idea of members only is that it's exclusive, and I mean it's only 99 cents. I like have the cheapest package or whatever, so I don't charge that much for members. But I will be doing some stuff like I don't like to get in front of the camera very often. I don't know, but I will probably doing some more of that for members only. Like me and my dogs and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's I'm self conscious or I don't know. Anyways, it's kind of funny about that. I love this house right here. I love this design. I love the way they do the multi levels. I really like that. Um, I don't know. I just think it gives it a better look, to have those different layers. But I thought this was a really nice, for a base game, I thought they did a really good job on this build right here. And I don't even remember seeing this house. I may have bulldozed it or something to build on it, but really, really paying attention. So I started a new game in Sims 4 so I could do these building instead of using like a save as file. Um, Anywho's, but coming to my end here on this video, and so I don't know, maybe I'll come online later. We'll see. I'm trying to stream at least once a day, Sunday through Thursday, and usually if I do stream on Saturday, it's like late at night. But right now I'm just like in chill mode because I'm needing to like not do much on the computer just because to let my hand really get a chance to heal from my surgery. So that's it, guys. I'm going to go ahead and get off here, and I appreciate you for stopping by, and I will be, viewing other people, going and visiting your channel. And if you're a simmer or if you build in games like this, please let me know because I love watching other people's stuff. Now, I will let you know that I will be doing shout outs on my channel. If you are a simmer and have content on your channel, I will be shouting out other simmers, especially if you're a builder, like renovators, builders. So for each time I do a stream, I'm going to like do shout outs of other simmers. And so I've been doing that, but I do every once in a while I will do a shout out video of other channels that are smaller Sims builder channels that are worthy of so many views. Just not so much that I get that many views that will like help them, but it's really for more of people who like to build and watch other build channels and maybe download their content that may not be aware of these other people just because of the monopoly, if you will, on YouTube from the EA sponsored channels. They're the ones that gets all the visibility. So I found some wonderful content that is absolute superb quality, not just the builds themselves that are next level. I mean, next level, guys, but that has really good quality production videos. And I feel like the effort that they put in, the hours they spend on their builds, the hours they spend creating a stop motion video, for example, I just feel like it's good content that is so worthy of views. I remember when I first started doing YouTube, oh my goodness, I would hardly do anything as far as effort wise, and I got thousands of views. If you look at my old videos when I first ever uploaded on YouTube, I have a lot of views, and it was just easy come. And now that it's more competitive, there's so many content creators that we get trickles of views. But I feel like I want connections with other simmers. I want to, you know what I'm saying? And it's like hard to find them. Like, I don't do Discord, but I know that there is a huge community on Discord. Okay, but Discord is now being sued for some of the same things that the other platforms are: the biometric data collection, sharing personal, just stuff that they're doing that shouldn't be doing. By the way, speaking of Discord, I wanted to let you know that I was invited to stream using a new feature that YouTube is bringing. It's called Hang and Watch. So Discord, you could like literally hang and watch stuff with other people and like voice chat, the whole 9 yards. And so that is a really cool feature that you can all watch something together, and so Roblox has really been the platform that introduced that when they started introducing chat into the game activity. So you can go and you can stream and you can hang out with people and you're all talking. If you have voice chat, you have all these players. It's almost like you're in an environment and you're hanging out with people. It's just virtually. So I'm just like, honestly, I'm surprised YouTube hasn't done it before, right? Because, like, first of all, people use Streamlabs and these other like stream services where you can like come together and get up on a screen together as a group. Like, why didn't YouTube offer that? Why is this other platform getting the money for those kinds of services? Like, YouTube, where are you? So they're finally coming around and figuring that out. And I have streamed, I have gone up, it's like, anybody want to come up or whatever. I just don't do that, guys. I don't know. I have a couple times with, very limited people, like a friend of mine, I will get up and talk or whatever, but just very rarely will I ever do that. It's just, I don't know. I just really don't like getting in front of the camera that much. I don't know. I'm just not that comfortable with that kind of streaming. But, I think that they're trying out this new feature that's, I compare it to Discord, the hang and watch service. And so I was really happy to be invited to do that, but only on mobile. So I'm not really a big mobile streamer, but so I'm gonna have to figure out that. So I may be doing that in the near future. So they sent me the invitation, so I responded and told them what types of videos that I was willing to do, what times of day, and that kind of stuff. So we'll see. Anywho, so that's the news on that. I think that is so super cool. So if you're somebody that likes Discord and that whole hang and watch thing, that coming to YouTube, that's big, because they've been trying to compete with TikTok and Facebook. When Facebook, they started, when Facebook started doing videos and, they started competing with Facebook, they didn't start competing with TikTok because TikTok, when they brought the shorts out in YouTube, and then they started increasing the time of shorts, like basically TikTok made their shorts longer, that kind of thing. So, anywho's, I think that I think that's going to be big, and so I'm hoping that feature. I think that's cool. I would love to hang out with other people on YouTube in that type of atmosphere. Hang and chat. Currently, what they're doing with people who, like, a lot of people are connecting with each other. They will come, like, I'll come to your video, you come to my video, we hang out, we're really connected. That's almost like the Facebook type of community. Like, we just we'll comment on each other's stuff on Facebook, and they introduced the community page on YouTube because they're trying to compete with these other platforms that have these features. They're like, okay, well, we got to have that feature too. But on YouTube, they've been basically treating people who are connecting with each other as spam. Like people will get unsub from each other, stuff like that. And I will tell you this, I do not watch other people's videos unless I'm truly interested in their video. I don't like do the whole playlist swap, because the whole playlist, like if I'm like, they're punishing people, and I'm warning people about the playlist. This is stuff that I have stayed on top of. I have researched, and I will let you know right now, Google Gemini is now governing YouTube. And I did a video on that, about YouTube's own AI, Gemini AI, explained how Gemini is now governing YouTube. It is the one that is basically monitoring the comments, or treating people like they're spam, unsubbing people from each other, and it's how they set their codes on how they're treating people. And so people who will play playlists, and we call it binge watching, because there are playlists that I will sit there and I'm just like, I don't have to keep clicking on a new video that I want to watch. What a nuisance. Like, just click on a playlist and let it play if it's the kind of content that I like. If somebody has a bunch of stop motion videos, especially, for example, in a playlist, I'm just going to hit that and I'm just going to sit back and chill out and relax. Okay? Now, TV watchers are treated differently on YouTube than people on the mobile, and people, depending on what device you're using. The kind of viewers that I want more TV watchers than, mobile or PC watchers, because those are the ones that are really giving you the watch time hours. And so if they're sitting back in their recliner chair and they're just treating your channel like, like people who are TV watching, they're more likely to watch the ads. They're not going to sit there and, skip. They're like, it's, commercials, they'll just deal with it. Like when people watch TV, like for example, if you go to Tubi on Roku channel or whatever, you can't skip the ads, right? But people that don't want ads, most of those are like your mobile watchers or your PC, and they're the ones that will skip your ads. But the TV watchers, they're sit back on their couch or their recliner and they're just watching it. They're treating it like TV, and you will get more money, more revenue. You'll get more watch time hours, and the more retention. The whole big thing about YouTube is that it's all about the time people spend in your videos. So if they're watching your video, okay, and the ads, then you're going to get more visibility. But what YouTube is doing is they're trying to they're treating people like if they're just people who's not really a viewer. They're just somebody who's clicking on your playlist because, and they know what you're saying to each other. They know what you're saying in your videos. They're literally judging people for their tones of voices. Like they're really, this is AI is super advanced now in YouTube monitoring. So if they feel like you're somebody who's like hateful and cringy or whatever, like you're going to get less views because they want ads to have the best content, and the best amount of viewers. And if like somebody's doing a live stream and they're just sitting there, they're not really showing anything, like they're cutting down on that. Like, they're just getting less visibility because they're just like, this is not where they want to put their ads, right? And so people who pay for ads, they have a right to be icky picky about what they're paying for because they pay a lot of money for ads. And so AI has a lot more ability now to monitor what's really going on. And so I'm just not gonna like click on a video unless I'm interested in it. And I ask people, like, look, I have lots and lots of shorts. I have a lot of short videos. If you're not really interested, please don't click on my videos that are hours long, because those kinds of videos are for people who really like watching that content. I have tons of videos. Like I do shorts videos, I do regular videos, and I do live streams. But my long live streams, like while it's live, and people are interacting, that's fine. But after it's no longer live, if people are just clicking on my live stream, it's like 3 hours long, and you click, comment, leave, you are hurting my channel, because it's telling the algorithm, oh, this person wasn't even interested in your stuff. So, and then your score for your channel goes down. So please, I will never click on a video unless I can watch it, and I mean the whole thing. That's and I don't go to channels that, if I don't like what they're putting on their channel and I'm like, no, I'm not watching that, then I'm not going to watch it, okay? So, but, I see a lot of people coming to my channel that have a lot of content that I do, and in a variety. And that's what people have always said, you need to have a niche, you need to have a niche, you need to have a niche, and, that's the way, whatever. But that's not how I am. I have three categories, main categories on my channel. I do gaming and crafting and Bible reading. Those are the three main things. And then a little bit of this and that. I have different types of playlists that people can watch. But my main three things on my channel are this, this, and this. And so I have a variety. I have people from around the world. I watch where people are coming from when they come to my channel, what ages they are, all that kind of data, is important to me. So I have a very various crowd. And so that's another thing when I'm live streaming. Like, I want people that are just coming to my stream because they're interested in the content. Like, I don't want them to be spammed by people like, just wanting to like click for click or view for view and all that stuff. That's, to me, that's not really support. That's not, like, if you're really truly going to somebody else's channel and we are connecting with each other and supporting and one another in really true sincere way, that they're actually watching their videos, that's cool. That's a community, right? But people who are clicking, commenting, and leaving, I don't want that on my channel. And I'm not doing that to other people, and I don't want them doing that to me. That is super harmful, and I want other people to realize if you're doing this and you're connecting with other people to do that, you're hurting your channel. Sure, you might get clicks and views, but you're literally lowering your channel score. I don't even think people are even aware that there's a scoring mechanism because it's hidden, but it's real, and you need to Google that. If you don't know about it, Google it and find out about it. Just go to Google Gemini. Of all the AIs, go to Google Gemini, because Gemini is the one who monitors our YouTube content and activity. Okay, so Google Gemini will tell you. It'll just lay it out for you, and it'll tell on YouTube and stuff that they do, right? But yeah, so it is really cutting down on all this not really sincere viewing, if you will, whatever. But in some ways that are super unfair, like unsubbing for people. Like this one lady, she would come to my channel very regularly, and she was so nice, and she'd make nice comments, and I would go to her. We would go to each other's channel on a regular basis, and I was treating her like spam. And I had people tell me, I've been unsubbed to you. I sub and I'm being unsubbed, and it's like, if somebody doesn't have any content and they're just a viewer, I don't know, maybe they go to a lot of channels and they're just treating them like they're a bot or something, but they're really somebody who just is a viewer and hangs out. And so when I'm like, for the years that I wasn't uploading, that's pretty much what I did. I don't have TV. I don't watch TV. I watch YouTube. Okay, I do watch movies. Okay, so but pretty much YouTube is my activity, and so I did a lot of viewing, and so I would comment, on a lot of people's stuff because I am a signed in person. A lot of people view and they're not even signed into YouTube, and you hear a lot of people on YouTube, even the very large channels with millions of subscribers, will say, "Oh, most of you are not signed in, whatever." Okay, they need to quit, because those people who are viewing are unsigned in, and there's a huge, massive amount of viewers on YouTube that don't want to sign in. They don't want to be tracked. They want to watch and not be tracked. Leave them alone. Let them watch. I'm just like, if you're that person right now and you're listening and you're not signed in and you're not commenting, I'm cool with that. I do appreciate those that give me those likes and comments, because obviously it helps us in the algorithm. But I'm like, if viewers are watching my stuff, I'm thankful. Right? I'm not gonna be mad because they're just wanting their privacy, and I'm just like, I respect that. Like, they're not really a YouTuber. They don't want to like do all the YouTube stuff and comment, all like, and all that stuff. They just want to click on this platform and watch some videos and just chill out on their couch, not having to be demanded to comment, all that stuff. I get it. Like, I get it. So I will never like fuss at people who are not subscribed or not signed in or whatever. But sometimes, sometimes people do forget to click the sub button, or maybe they've subbed before and they've been unsubbed by YouTube's unsubber, or they just forget to like sometimes, and I don't mind. It's okay if people just kind of like remind people, for that. But the whole, oh, most of my people are not watching. Like, dude, if you're getting hundreds of thousands or even millions of views, stop fussing because they're not wanting to sign in to sub to you. Like, be thankful, right? I'm like, shoot, I wish I got that many views. I don't care if they, like, at that point, if I'm getting that many views, I don't care if they're subbing, right? Like, it's not about the subs. Anyways, that's enough. I'm done here. I'm going to get off here. But it's Friday, you guys. So, maybe I'll come on tonight. I don't know. I'm just healing, my hand's healing and whatnot. So, anyways, thank you guys for stopping in. I appreciate you, and I will be going to check out your channel and whatnot. And if you have any suggestions on the whole crafting for my crafting friends on blinging up my sweatshirt, let me know. I'm very interested in. There's a lots and tons and tons and tons of crafters on YouTube, and so I'm open to ideas. That's it for now. Thanks for stopping in. I appreciate you so much. Bye bye.